Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I can't believe I'm saying this, but after almost 5 years combined in San Francisco, I'm deciding to close this chapter and move out of the city. It's time for a new era. Who knows, maybe I'll come to San Francisco. Never say never, as they say, but for now, goodbye, SF. I came to San Francisco for the first time in 2014, back when I was still in college. I came here to intern at Yelp as a software engineer on their Android team. This was back when, prior to my internship, I was extremely frugal. I never really made real money that I was comfortable spending. And here I am in a big, vibrant city in the heart of Silicon Valley around everything tech innovation, tech community, making a great amount of money for students. And you know, I lived in a high-rise back then in Eastcott, right next to the Bay Bridge, with an amazing view. I, for the first time ever, started going to real restaurants, and San Francisco is famous for its food scene. So I really felt like, oh my God, I'm living the life. San Francisco is amazing. I loved the energy, I loved the people, I loved how walkable the city was. The views are extremely beautiful. If you guys have ever visited San Francisco, you know what I'm talking about. The city is very walkable. The architecture is so romantic and so, I don't know, special and nice, and every neighborhood has its own little center and a variety of things to do. So for me, it was a dream come true. I have said on deciding that, hey, when I graduate university, I'm definitely coming back to San Francisco. And this is what happened. In 2016, so almost 4 years ago, I have graduated university and I came to San Francisco for a full-time job to work at Airbnb back then as a software engineer. And again, I thought that San Francisco has everything that I would ever dream of at that point of time, and I saw myself staying in the city for quite some time. I have been very lucky to live in a variety of different neighborhoods, 5 different neighborhoods combined. I made a ton of different friends from a variety of communities. You know, they usually say that San Francisco is very monocultured, but I had an opportunity to embed myself in the music community since I started hosting opera concerts. I have had a chance to embed myself in a more creatives community, artists, painters. I obviously have a ton of friends in the tech community and have started being very embedded in the startup scene as well. So I've been very lucky to make I'm sure lifelong connections here, people that I will stay in touch with beyond my move from the city. And what happens is that in the last 2 months during the peak of the coronavirus pandemic, I have been staying outside of the city, about an hour away, and I had my apartment back in San Francisco, and I've been very grateful and lucky that I have spent this time outside of the city. Because honestly, I think that being stuck in my small apartment in San Francisco would have been really terrible, like a tiny amount of space, there's nothing to do in the city, things are closed, and this had made me really rethink my values. What do I like doing? How do I want to spend my time? And what lifestyle do I want to have? And I'm really curious to hear, are you guys living in the city or are you guys living closer to nature, and which one do you prefer? Consider leaving a comment down below. I'm really curious to find out. And I have discovered a few surprising things about myself. First of all, I've realized that I'm not really missing that many things that San Francisco offered. And that is because, honestly, the last couple of years, I haven't really been taking advantage of that much of the city life. I have established my communities within the city, I have established my friends groups, I have been going to some events, but not a ton. I have been exploring some restaurants, but not a ton. I really love spending time working on projects and focusing on things that I'm excited about, and none of those things were really tied to San Francisco and to being in the heart of San Francisco. So that was a thing number one. Thing number two that I realized is that I really value having more space, and I love working from home, which came to me as a complete surprise. Prior to the pandemic, I've always thought that, oh my God, working from home is the worst. I can never stay productive, I can never be focused. But this time has shown me that I love working from home. I love the fact that I don't have a commute, I don't have to go anywhere. I just need my quiet space and I can entertain myself with all my projects, with things I'm interested in, with courses I'm excited to learn about, with skills that I want to improve. So I'm optimistic that with these changes, you don't have to be in San Francisco, you don't even have to be in Silicon Valley to, let's say, raise capital. If you already have the network, especially, it's going to be fine to live pretty much anywhere and do business. So working from home is amazing. And again, if I find working from home, I don't really need to be tied to a location to be in the office. And it seems like the world is really going to change. All these tech companies, they're going to implement remote policies, and Facebook, Square, Stripe have already came out with statements that they're gonna essentially allow people to work remotely indefinitely. And this is actually showing us that this pandemic has been an interesting experiment for companies to see how productive their workforce is when it's outside of the office, when it's completely decentralized. And to everyone's surprise, this experiment has actually been quite successful. People have not become less productive. Of course, for parents, it's a bit of a different situation, but overall, the productivity hasn't really decreased. And I think that our world is going to be more and more decentralized. We're more and more going to hire talent globally. People will not have to be and stay in a certain location to get job opportunities and to get hired by certain companies. Companies are going to tap into global talent, which I think is an amazing opportunity for you if you cannot be in the US for, let's say, visa reasons. You can still apply and you can still have the same opportunities. So it's really democratizing the workforce. And another thing that I've realized is that San Francisco is not going to be the same for quite some time, because now a lot of people are realizing that, hey, if I don't need to be in the city because my job is not there anymore, if I can do my job from home, then I might as well, rent or buy a place that's bigger than what I have in the city, enjoy the nature, enjoy the quiet, enjoy the peace, and just work from home. And having had very quiet sleeps in the last 2 months, I honestly have been appreciating not living in the city's busyness. And I just feel like happier to be around nature, and I'm really excited to explore the Bay Area, the suburbs of the Bay Area, as my next steps. So this kind of concludes my chapter in San Francisco for now. I had an amazing time in the city. I am very positive that outside of the city, despite not being in the city, I will be able to connect with the same amount of people, because again, I think the pandemic is gonna make people a little worried if they're not close friends with you to meet strangers, to meet new people. We're truly gonna be living in a slightly different world. And for a while I've been interested in exploring startups, and I'm confident that VCs, venture capital investors, will now be, and they have been, adjusting to taking meetings over Zoom versus having to meet people in person. So really, if you already have a network, and if you're trying to even build a network, this might almost be an opportunity for you where you do not have to be here in the Valley to have the same opportunity and to have the ability to raise capital if you're not physically present here. As for me, my next steps are going to be staying around the Bay Area. I'm not moving away from Silicon Valley for now, but even then, I feel like I am more open. In my mind, the world has become even more open with this quarantine, because now that I'm realizing that I'm not tied to a physical location, I'm having thoughts that, hey, maybe I'll go to Hawaii for a few months and spend some time there. Maybe I go to Georgia, and not Georgia, the state in the state in the United States, but Georgia, the country. I've always been wanting to go there because people there are so wonderful, food is so great, they have so many history. Maybe I'll go there and spend some time there. Maybe I'll go back to my home country, to Belarus, for a few months. I feel like this time has made me realize that the world is much more open than I thought it was before, where I thought that, hey, I just gotta stay in San Francisco and that's it. So all these changes I'm viewing as quite positive. I'm very excited for next steps. For the next little while, I'm going to Sonoma and then down to Santa Cruz. I'm excited to not tie myself into a lease. I'm completely moving out of my apartment, and yeah, I'm just super excited for what's next. This moment is definitely bittersweet, but nonetheless, I think moving forward and being excited about what's next, being positive and optimistic about uncertainty is the right attitude to have, and that's the attitude that I've been embracing. I am sad but excited to say goodbye to San Francisco. As they say never. I might come back to the city. I'm not too far away, but for now I'm closing this chapter, and I'll just say to San Francisco and to my time in the city, I will say thank you, and I will say until later. This is not a goodbye, this is not a farewell, this is a see you later. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. If you liked it, don't forget to smash that like button and consider subscribing to this channel to follow my next steps and where I end up. And I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. As always, bye for now.